What's up, collective? Welcome back to my channel. This is Divine Eye Mystic Tarot. Back with another general reading. This is a love reading. This love reading is going to be for my earth signs. Um, but we're going to dive right in, all right? Somebody feels as though, I don't know if this is you, earth signs, um, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or if this is someone that is on your mind that could be the same sign as you, don't have to be. But they could be an earth sign as well, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. All right. But the first card that came out is already giving me somebody that feels as though, I don't know if they feel like you treat them like somebody from your past, or like you look at them as, somebody that, they may have had resemble some behavior of somebody from your past, or somebody resembled or put out some type of energy or behavior, that reminded you or triggered you or put you in the mind of somebody from your past, or people from your past, whether they were lovers, family members, friends, people you cut off, whatever the case may be. Don't have to be for everybody, but that is what I'm getting for somebody in particular. All right, they may be for some of you, not all of you. But just off this first card, is this person feels as though the way you treat them, they don't deserve it. The way you treat them, they don't deserve it. Now they feel like that. They feel like that. The way you treat me, I don't deserve it. And I was like, who is this person that my earth signs feel as though somebody's treating them, or whoever this is has got you on their mind, or whoever mind you on? Who is this? And the card that came out was the King of Cups. King of Cups. This is somebody that is very generous, but they also are someone that, is very supportive, of your endeavors. This is somebody that you may be, somebody that whatever the other person is working on or got in mind, or whatever they, creative ideas are, whatever it is that they want to advance in doing, whatever it is, you're very supportive. You know what I'm saying? And very giving, very loving, very nurturing. All right, to whatever that is. But I was asking the question next was, how do they feel this person is treating them? How do they feel like my earth signs is treating them? Or how do my earth signs feel like somebody's treating them because they don't deserve it? The Six of Pentacles came out, but it came out in reverse. All right, this is somebody that, like fake charity. They could be, somebody that want to give, but they can't because of, maybe they, was overspending or living beyond their means, or somebody just maybe didn't feel, at one time they had it and they didn't. So it could be a thing, earth signs, where somebody feels as though it was a situation, maybe they felt like I was, picking up on like somebody feeling as though, you know how folks feel like when they not where they feel like they need to be financially, as opposed to how they used to be and was able to give. It's like almost giving, like somebody saying, if I had it to give, I would give it to you. But I don't have it. I don't even have it for myself. You get what I'm saying? And it's giving like somebody feeling as though it's like fake charity, or somebody, was kind of being selfish. And it's like one person being generous and very giving, and somebody else was a taker. So you may have left somebody feeling as though whatever they were giving, you were not giving back equally. You may have felt like you gave back in other ways. Like it's giving somebody's love language is different things. And somebody doesn't either know their love language, so earth signs, whoever you were dealing with, and, earth signs in particular, know your love language. If those are conversations that you can have if you're going to go on a coffee date or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Or you actually, having, a general conversation, with a random person or whatever, when it comes to certain topics of conversation, that should be one that, may come up, needs to come up more than often, is love language. Some people's love language is different. Some people have more than one thing that they do to let you know they care, that they They have a special kind of interest in you. You know what I'm saying? Um, but with that Six of Pentacles in reverse, is giving like somebody that, you know, was selfish. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you felt like, or they felt like you were a taker. Like, you could have gave, and they may have been in a bad slump. They may have had it at one time, they didn't at the time. They may have felt, on their luck. You know what I'm saying? And their finances wasn't where they needed them to be. This could be somebody that was a very generous person, to other people, but they may have fallen on their luck. They may have, had some struggles, some things, some debt that, may have acquired. And, or it's like somebody may have felt like you had some things that you were trying to get out of debt, with, you know what I'm saying? You may have been trying to clear up some debt. You may have had some things going on in your financial, situation that didn't leave, a lot of room for you to give where you could have gave, more at in a connection. And I know it seems like I'm rambling on, earth signs, but listen, this is how somebody feels. Like and this next card is giving like somebody, that don't understand. Like you may not have understood this person. You may have tried to understand them during that time when you were dealing with some debt, you were dealing with some, financial situations, or, things that were pulling on your energy, that you may have had a lot of responsibility, a lot of distractions going on. You know what I'm saying? That may have taken you away energetically from a person on a scale of being balanced with them, giving that equal give and take of attention, time, emotions and things like that. The next card, I wish I could understand you. And this card is clarified by the Page of Pentacles. I wish I could understand you. And the Page of Pentacles talks about somebody goal-oriented, somebody that, is very trustworthy, very faithful to what they do, to who they with, to how they see things, the goals they have in mind, they know how to balance their finances and things like that. They work on it. They may not have much, but they, contribute a lot to themselves and where they're going and how they see things. So it also, talks about, like whatever you're doing to achieve, the goal that you have in mind. A lot of ambition, you know what I'm saying? Determination. The next card, don't wait for me. Please, don't wait for me. And that don't wait for me, I'm getting, and at the bottom of the deck is it over? The card behind that is, this love is crazy. And it's giving like, earth signs, like either you or somebody in your energy, or somebody you thinking of, or somebody that's thinking of you. Like somebody want to come towards you, but they don't know for certain if things is really over. Because what I'm getting, like I said, somebody don't want you, don't treat me the way you do. I don't deserve it. Like somebody may feel as though these three cards I got laying out here, these were at the bottom of the deck that I kept. You know what I'm saying? You got the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. You got the Devil in reverse, and you got the Ace of Swords in reverse. So it's given like somebody, had a misunderstanding, miscommunication. You know what I'm saying? They may not have been, especially when it comes to them trying to understand you. Like it was a miscommunication. Like if you felt like this person, or they felt like you didn't give at a time towards the connection or with them that they were giving. You know what I'm saying? They may have been a very generous person, with their time, their energy, but they may have been, a Page of Pentacles. You know what I'm saying? They may not have had much. They may have been somebody that getting you the shirt off their back. But at the time, they didn't really have it. And it's like maybe they felt as though their situation didn't align with you to, for you to want them, for real, because of their finances. They may have felt like you wasn't really interested in them, or you fake supported them, and you were fake about being, all in with them because of their situation. They may not have had it like you thought they did, or maybe they didn't have it like they thought you did, or the way you had it going on, or whatever the case. That's what I'm getting. But this Nine of Pentacles is like in reverse. It's like a shaky foundation. This is like, somebody possibly, like I said, having some codependency issues. Maybe they had to stay with a family member, or they had to stay with people sometime. You know what I'm saying? Because of a financial situation, or job, related. They could have been in between jobs and fell down on their luck. You know what I'm saying? But they may have not had any addictions or anything. Like, it may not have been because of none of that. You know what I'm saying? But, or they may have grasped the fact that they may have, needed, to reset. Because the devil is in reverse. You know what I'm saying? So this is not somebody that, at one time had addictions, and they could have had addictions. They could have had a certain lifestyle that they were used to living, or you had a lifestyle you were used to living. You may have, let that go. You know what I'm saying? You may have had some toxic connections, people you were involved with in the past, that didn't work out. You may have, cut ties with them people with the devil in reverse, and, you know what I'm saying, made a life for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or just got rid of things that don't serve you. People, things, behaviors, things like that. You know what I'm saying? And for you to say you don't deserve something, or somebody saying they don't deserve something, it's like, I'm not that type of person. I'm not a toxic person. I'm not a person that, just, got a history of, being in some bad connections, or have any more connections to people that I did, or you did have some bad, history with. You know what I'm saying? With this devil energy. It's like, but there was a miscommunication somewhere with this Ace of Swords in reverse. You know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody was confused about, what another person, was trying to get through to them, or was trying to express to them. You know what I'm saying? Or was unclear about who somebody was, or what they, what they were trying to say, or they were confused about who was who, what to believe, what somebody wanted, or what their role was at the time. What do you need from me? You know what I'm saying? Maybe you were dealing with a person that didn't just tell you, hey, I need some help financially, or, I'm in a situation, I got some financial stuff going on, I'm not in the best, position right now, and maybe they felt like their position didn't lead them, that security of knowing that they, you wanted them, or that, you wanted them, or they wanted you. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody saying their financial situation, or the energy that they would not, see and come back towards them, was something that they felt like, maybe their financial situation, or, where they were at that time when they were involved with you, that you were not going to be serious with them, or you didn't take them serious because of, or you didn't want to have something serious with them because of their financial situation. That's what I'm getting. Because they may have had, like I said, the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Somebody may have had to live with a family member. They kids may have had to move back in with them. They may have had to stay with one of their kids. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? But this could have been, a while ago. This separation could have been a while ago. But at the bottom of the deck, the tarot deck, you got the Three of Cups. So this could, been somebody that you had a really close, friendship with. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could have kicked it off as good friends before, a good connection, was in place. You know what I'm saying? You may have, how people say we got to start off as friends. And as a friend, you may have had, some good memories with this person. And I feel like, right behind this was the Page of Swords. It's the Page of Swords I'm looking at. So this person could be younger than you, Earth sign. You know what I'm saying? Or you may be younger than whoever this person is that, is in your energy right now, that feels like you treating them like they don't deserve it. Or you feel as though somebody, you know what I'm saying, is treating you, the way they would have somebody in the past that, did them wrong, you know what I'm saying, and didn't give back to them, or didn't love on them, or show, I took them for granted. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's giving that Six of Pentacles in reverse. It's like maybe somebody felt as though, another person was taking them for granted, at a time where they were already dealing with being in some type of debt or something like that. Somebody could have been dealing, with some karma as well. Like somebody could have been going through a karmic cycle, clearing out karmic cycles or whatever, and they may not have been financially, and energetically where they needed it and wanted to be at, from giving to so many people. Or somebody, just feeling like somebody giving to them was like fake charity. Like somebody may have felt like somebody was being fake toward them. Somebody gave more than another person, and they took that as lack of interest. You know what I'm saying? In them, like maybe you didn't give back to somebody the way they gave to you, and they may have, been very observant of that. You may not have understood, why they walked away or why they pulled away or were pushing you away or something like that. But it was, this miscommunication, like this confusion. It's like, damn, I know I ain't like this, I know I ain't like that, but why they doing me like that? And it's like somebody maybe indirectly wasn't telling you, indirectly was saying or trying to, not be that way, but I feel like they couldn't. Like somebody was not given to another person the way they was given to them. And I feel like it got a lot to do with your love language, their love language, your love language. It's like if you don't have a dime to your name, it's not going to affect whoever this is being faithful to you. And I feel like with this King of Cups, somebody is, very nurturing, very kind, you know, very giving, very supportive. Somebody was very supportive to you, or you were very supportive to somebody else, when it comes to their endeavors, very kind, very nurturing to them as a person, or they felt this way, towards you, but they may have felt like, there were some things, that they felt like somebody else was like just taking up that about them for granted. And it may have, left them feeling depleted. Six of Pentacles in reverse, like giving to somebody so much that you don't have anything to give yourself, or they feel like whatever was being given back to them, or whatever you were, trying to give back to them was like fake, like you were being fake, like you really, and you may have been going through something, financially, and could have did more, but you just wasn't able to. Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Or they wasn't able to, financially meet you somewhere, in the middle, or bring a lot financially to the table because of where they, were at the time, or where they seen themselves. It's like almost like somebody is saying, well, this person probably don't want to take me serious because I don't have it like that, like them. I'm not driving the same kind of, up-to-date car as them. You know what I'm saying? I don't have my own place. I'm having to live with somebody. But it ain't like, if I had it, I wouldn't, give, you know what I'm saying, or be able to bring more to the table. But I'm a faithful person. I'm a very nurturing person. I still support other people regardless of what I do or don't have. You know what I'm saying? I may not have it like you. I may not have it the way your family want me to have it. Like that. It's giving that. But this is somebody you celebrated with. This is somebody that, they could want to celebrate. You could want to celebrate with this person, or you celebrated with this person. But Page of Wands is giving somebody that, is, looking more into themselves about what makes them happy. You know what I'm saying? And exploring. It could be into traveling. This could be somebody, because this King of Cups, it's like, somebody that likes to look, afar. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with this Three of Cups, it's like somebody actually dealing with going places. You know what I'm saying? Page of Pentacles is like planning things. You know what I'm saying? And having a nice time and making plans, not just to travel, but, how you want to, advance in your finances, how you want to, the goals you got in mind, and being ambitious about, taking each step seriously, about getting there and financially planning along the way. You know what I'm saying? Saving for what you want, you got coming, and being mindful of that, but also staying, 10 toes down on what you're doing. you know what I'm saying, to make sure that you're doing everything you need to do to get and accomplish that goal, and staying faithful to that, not just to a person, but, to what it is you're doing, and staying on top of those things. And I feel like, somebody feels as though, they want to travel, they want to, celebrate and go places and see, see new things, you know what I'm saying, experience new things about themselves, but they may have had to release some things that don't serve them. 10 of Wands in reverse. Like somebody may have had to realize, certain things they may have, taken responsibility for was not things that serve their higher purpose, their higher self. Like they may have had to release, you may have had to let go of some things that don't serve you. You may have had, unnecessary commitments you need to get out of. You know what I'm saying? Especially if there are things that ain't bringing, elevation, and updating, you know what I'm saying, is not improving your quality of living your life, you know what I'm saying, your happiness. It's not contributing to that. It may be things that committed to or was committed to helping when it came to helping others, being there for other people. You know what I'm saying? And being that neutralizer for other people in situations. And you may have had to let go of those unnecessary commitments, clearing out that clutter. Because it may have, been a lot of responsibility that you put on yourself, to where you don't have it to help somebody else that really needed it. Whether it was family, whether it was people around you that, you looked at it as family, or just random things, people. Jobs even, you know what I'm saying? Outside jobs. It could be, little side hustles or whatever. But it's the fact that they, may have taken up a lot of your time and energy and money, to where somebody now feels, or you feel as though somebody treating you a way that you feel like they don't deserve it. You don't deserve that. And they may be treating you like, somebody that they, like a stranger, like, they don't know you. Like there never was a you and them or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you a fake person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anything you may have given them was just, especially if they felt like, they didn't want to ask you for. You know how some people say you didn't just volunteer and help. You just, you know what I'm saying, didn't do anything. And this may be somebody that feels that they walked away or something that didn't work out. They feel as though, and take it how it resonates, this could be somebody that's with somebody too. Earth sign. So this is not just for single people. You know what I'm saying? If I hadn't said it already. But this, take it how it resonates. If you in a connection and you listening to this reading, you're an earth sign, dealing with an earth sign, whatever. All right. Or they got earth placements. But somebody feels as though, somebody else is not as giving. And if they are giving, they feel like it's fake charity. They feel like, somebody's not genuine about giving, and they very selfish. It's like somebody, will give the bare minimum. Just because they want to, you know how people say, oh, I just gave to the, some stuff out of my closet to the thrift store, so people can't say that I don't give. They just said, they just gave to be able to say they gave you something. That's it. And that alone makes somebody feel as though the treatment that they get from this person now is like something they feel like they don't deserve. It's like somebody saying, yeah, you gave me some things, but it wasn't really much or nothing. Really, to be honest, they feel like you gave them the bare minimum. Like you just gave to say you gave them something. Well, I bought you something, I told you to get what you wanted when we went in the store. When we went shopping, and I went shopping, I may have, you know what I'm saying? Or, I got out the car, I asked you if you wanted something. When I went in, you said no. And I think most people don't realize, just because somebody say no don't mean that they for real. And that's just like, somebody that's essayed, you know what I'm saying? No is no. Some people don't take no as no. Some people think your no means yes. You just having a hard time or feel some type of way, embarrassed or something, too embarrassed to say, yes. You know what I'm saying? Or too prideful to say yes, so they just, you know, push past that and whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I wish they saying they wish, you know, this is you, or them saying I wish I could understand you, or you saying, you know, you wish you could understand this person, but it's in, you know, earth energy. You could be saying, you know, you wish you could understand, you know, this person. But it could be, like I said, the fact that you come off as somebody, you know, faithful and, you know, trustworthy, ambitious, honest, you know what I'm saying, dependable. Clarify the Nine of Pentacles. What is it they wish they could understand? What is it they wish they could understand? With the Nine of Pentacles. What is it they wish they could understand? You got the Five of Wands in reverse. With the Moon in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Somebody gaining clarity now. Um, Possibly, you know, was, you know, like they say, you know, what's hidden will be revealed. What's hidden will be exposed. You know what I'm saying? What's done in the dark will come to the light. And some child, I can't make it up, because right after this damn moon is the sun. What's done in the dark will come to the light. So, you know, what's done, you know, what was made, you know, to look like an illusion or made to confuse somebody else or keep them confused about who somebody else is, you know, or how to see somebody else. Like somebody now sees somebody as the light worker, the light being that they are. They see, you know, now the happiness they were, you know, blinded, you know, or so blinded by it first. You know what I'm saying? Somebody didn't understand, you know, exactly, you know, somebody stance on something or they actions toward them. You didn't understand exactly why somebody was handling the connection between you and them the way that they were. But you see it now. Like somebody like, well, I guess they felt like, you know, whatever they had going on had a lot to do with, or whatever you had going on financially, and whatever you could, you did give and didn't give, you know, any more at any other time. They felt like, you know, whatever you did give wasn't genuine anyway. It was just you being, you know, saying that you gave something to say you gave something. But that something you gave wasn't really as much as the person that was, you know, you were connected to, or whatever that person you with is doing. They feel like, you know, you doing the bare minimum just to say you doing something. Don't mean that you doing it because you want to do it and you gotta, you know, you got it like that, or you could give more, you just ain't going to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, well, I like what you're doing for me, but whatever you doing, whatever somebody's doing, they feel like they're doing more of it. You know what I'm saying? And if they had the other person feeling as though if I had it like that, I would have been doing more. But I didn't have it that way. So, you know, they may have, you know, that person may have felt like somebody was being selfish, like being a taker instead of, you know, reciprocating what they were doing, even if it wasn't financially. It was just like, damn, I'm giving you a lot of my time. I'm giving you my undivided attention. And when I want it from you, you always, you know what I'm saying, giving me the bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? You always got to squeeze me in somewhere, you know, and I don't do you like that. It's something like that. It's like somebody is saying, no, don't treat me the way you do. I don't deserve you. Especially if they felt like, you know, I might have to stay with somebody. I may have had, you know, I might have had some financial debt. You know what I'm saying? My foundation may have been a little shaky at the time, you know, but, you know, I'm leaving a lot of stuff behind. I'm letting a lot of things, you know, I'm walking away from a lot of things that I know don't serve me. Devil in reverse. You know what I'm saying? But whatever it was, it's like somebody gaining clarity with it with the moon. there's a compromise with this 501s in reverse. Somebody wants to compromise, or they, want to change, something that, may have been like some difficult, like circumstances going on. Like, especially if they felt like, it was the fact that there was some dishonesty about, the actions that they were taking or why they took the actions they took. It's like somebody, may have, been dealing with, somebody else that was, whatever the competition was like or whatever it was, that somebody was 501s, even if it's in the upright, it's like, somebody having, some disputes, some lack of cooperation from the other person. But it's like, I don't know what was causing, that person to, be off balance, to where they could not read the situation the way they properly should have at the time. And it's like somebody may have had other things going on, like I said, other distractions, other actions that they were, investing in or involved in, other disputes, other people that they were involved with that may have had things going on, or they may have involved themselves in other people's lives, situations that, they shouldn't have. And it may have taken up a lot of time. They may have, invested a lot of time into all these other, taking action in all these other situations, and paid less attention to what was going on, or you paid less attention to what was going on in another connection that somebody else was feeling as though you were distracted. And what you were given, was the bare minimum, and it was not enough compared to somebody that may not have had, a lot going on, but they were, doing what they needed to do to stay afloat and, maintaining their shit and still, you know what I'm saying, being supportive of what somebody else or what you was doing. Or you were supportive of what somebody else was doing, regardless of what your situation was like, earth signs. Okay? But it's giving somebody, possibly want to compromise, they want to work some things out, but they could have been battling with, how to do that because they don't want to, come and bring some type of drama or misunderstanding again. Like somebody don't want to have that dispute. They, want to let something go. Let's settle something, without tearing each other head off. You know what I'm saying? They feel like that. Because especially if this person feel like, coming towards you means they, people that they done cut off don't like that. They cut them off. And it could be a lover, okay? It could be people they were involved with in the past that, they may have, entertained at some point to a certain extent in some way, whether they were still answering their text messages, whether they were still responding and liking things, online, on the other platforms, whatever the case may be. If they were entertaining them still, had some type of communication with them, they know if they cut these people off altogether, earth signs, if you cut somebody off, all these people off, 10 of wands in reverse, you get rid of a lot of these things that don't serve you. These people are just distractions. They just, was entertainment for a while, but they was not going and leading to anything serious. Even if you didn't want nothing serious, it's time out for, going along and entertaining something that don't have no purpose. And it's taking up a lot of your time, and you've been investing time and attention to it. You've been validating a lot of these people's egos, by responding. And the minute you stop, it's going to be, some chaos, some back and forth, And maybe somebody was dishonest, 5 of wands in reverse. Maybe somebody was dishonest where somebody else was being honest. They were, ambitious, goal-oriented and things like that. But at a time where somebody else was, kind of had some other things going on, maybe with other people and, other situations, other cycles open that they were entertaining, that somebody now just, want to resolve, this the best way they can without, arguing, disputes and stuff like that. So it could be some type of compromise somebody want. It's like somebody's, image, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because somebody's not being looked at the same way. Yeah, it's like somebody want to resolve something with you and settle something because they don't want you to keep looking at them the way you're looking at them, or you don't want somebody to keep looking at you the way they looking at you, or the way they seeing you. Like, so it's like, I don't want you to think I'm not trying to understand. I am, but just give it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like how somebody say, break it down to me like an infant, like a toddler, like a 5-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Break in layman terms, like. But what the like I said, you got the moon at the bottom of the deck in reverse. So somebody's being shown, some answers. They giving some truth. You know what I'm saying? They gaining clarity. They seeing now, what it was that may have been a confusion, or, what they were looking at, or how somebody saw something that made them see something the way they was seeing, the way somebody else was seeing it. The way somebody else saw you, or the way you saw somebody else, like you seeing it now. Like, I don't know if somebody breaking it down to you, or it's just, what I'm saying, downloads you getting of somebody actions, or, what could have contributed to that. Maybe it's some audio, video, or something, or somebody, online, that somebody's talking about certain dynamics in a cycle, what I'm saying, in connections, in love, and relationships, that may be hitting home now. Like, you may get it now. Like, damn, so that's how somebody else, that's how so-and-so saw me. This is why they think, this, or that's why they looking at that, like, looking at me like that, or they doing this the way they doing this. It's like that. Especially if somebody, was involved with somebody else, or they got other people, that they may have had cycles open with, that, was being cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? Doing shit underhanded, you know what I'm saying, to make another person um question, they actions. It's like somebody saying, "Oh, you go over there with so and so, that person gonna play your ass. They gonna use the fuck out of you. They gonna have your ass broke." And they say, you know what I'm saying? Don't say I ain't tell you. You gonna be over here trying to, you know what I'm saying? Don't want to come back this way because I'm gonna say I told you so. Whatever, whatever. And it's like, in actuality, this person or somebody is just saying something to make the situation of somebody choosing somebody else or going in another direction difficult, by way of, keeping them confused and, in their head about how to see that person, or how to see something actually going, versus how somebody may have, just put some things out there and recklessly, you know what I'm saying, mishandled, some conversation or some action somebody wanted to take, but they were, dealing with somebody. Like, earth sign, you don't know if you were dealing with somebody, or somebody in your energy was dealing with people, or with this 5 of Wands is giving me people. And it could have been up to 5 people, don't have to be, but it's, also giving, like, somebody giving them things to factor in that ain't even going on. But it's keeping them from going to find out, or you going to find out the truth. And in actuality, these may be people that be saying shit and throwing shit out there, and all of it is things that done kept you from really giving your undivided attention and giving back in a connection, where it may have been going good. This person was, 10 toes down for you, regardless of what they financial situation was or is, or whatever the case may be. But these are people that just got in the way, you know what I'm saying, and made things, that you needed to know and needed to see confusing for you to move forward and take somebody seriously, or somebody to take you seriously. And it's like people saying those things and you acting on it and holding back, or, procrastinating, 8 of Wands in reverse, making, going towards somebody, or, you know what I'm saying, like something taking off where it should have been, and it may have slowed down. Like making a decision, or that person seeing that you were for real, being something they felt like, was keeping them at a stalemate with you. Why does 5 of Wands in reverse? Messages for my earth sign. Why the 5 of Wands in reverse? Why the 5 of Wands in reverse? The strength in reverse. Somebody didn't feel as confident. They don't feel as confident, even if they do want to come towards you and resolve an issue, or even if you want to go towards a person to resolve the issue, you may not have had the confidence to do that. You may have not had, all the information you needed, or a lot of, support in that matter, at that time, to do that. At the Hermit at the bottom of the deck. So you could be meditating, looking within. You could be, doing some shadow work as well, doing some self-reflecting, or just, looking within and re-evaluating that situation and yourself, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the things that you may have overlooked. And they're not connecting to that, on a personal level, like looking at it, from a different standpoint. And you could be getting some, insight from somebody else, on a spiritual, what I'm saying, a spiritual kind of platform, or on a spiritual level, or how to see something, like I said. Don't wait for me, please. I don't understand that. Clarify. Don't wait for me. Yeah, let me reshuffle. Wow, don't wait for me. Because like I said, at the bottom of the deck is it over? Like somebody not sure if, them coming towards you to reconcile, or, ask for forgiveness, or resolve, whatever issue they get. You know how some people just want that closure, but they don't know if, they do or don't do this, if it's really over. You know what I'm saying? Whether they do this or not. Because if they feel like it's really over, you know what I'm saying, then they may feel as though, or you may feel as though you don't really need to, balance something out, or compromise, or work something out. Why are they saying don't wait for me, please? Messages for my earth signs. Messages for my earth signs. Don't wait for me, please. Why? Why are they saying this? You got the Knight of Swords in reverse. And the Hangman. With the Ace of Wands in reverse now. Somebody could be waiting on something, that they made, this Knight of Swords in reverse. Like, whatever it is that they may have been waiting on, they may have had some type of delays, or some obstacles, or something that got in the way, that, may be hindering and holding them up from moving forward. But the Hangman came out, where this person is gaining a new perspective, seeing something differently. You know what I'm saying? They may have had, how you say it? Turning over a new leaf, you know what I'm saying? But it's also giving like them having, to look at something from their higher self. But I feel like they, went through some type of delays. They had some obstacles, some things that may have came up, or they, were abusing, something didn't go the way they thought it would. You know what I'm saying? And they may have been manipulative, maybe what they said, or how they said something, or something they didn't say, may have caused, a situation to be the way it is, and now they seeing it now. Like if they felt like, however they were looking at or voiced their concern or something about something, it's like them, look, how somebody feel like, if I manipulated that person, if I was abusive to them, if I said something out of the way, if I said, if I recklessly said something to somebody, in a way that I shouldn't have, I see that now, like, yeah, don't wait on me. You know what I'm saying? Because they may have had to deal with, the fact that somebody may be pointing out how they communication was taken. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So whatever it was that they were supposed to come towards you and say, they gave, earth sign, like somebody gave something they couldn't come towards you and be passive about. Um, Even if somebody wanted to, say, well, I don't want to go towards, earth sign, or earth sign could be saying, I want to go towards another person and hear about them talking about something from the past. I don't want them bringing up my past or how something was, in the past. I don't want that coming up. You know what I'm saying? And if I got to deal with going through having to hear about that, you know what I'm saying, then I'm not going to go towards that person and communicate with them or say nothing to them and all that right there. Right? But at the same time, if that's something that, what I'm saying, they decide to do, it's like, the outcome of those, the consequences of not doing that is going to be something that they probably more than likely ain't going to be ready for, and it's going to cause a lot of delays, or somebody using that as letting some delays cause them not to move forward. Oh, I had to do this and that came up. You know what I'm saying? Or I had this, that going on. I would have came back and said something to you, but, or I would have came back and made shit right with you, but I had this and that going on. It's like somebody had, a lot of delays, or, a situation where they needed to take action in and they didn't. Now somebody gained a new perspective on, how something looks when it comes to, thinking about that from their higher self. It's not easy for some people, to say they wrong or take accountability sometimes because of their pride or their ego. But at this point, earth sign, somebody feel, I don't know if this is you or somebody else, but they feel, or somebody gonna be dealing with the fact that, the outcome of certain things that you don't take action in, don't mean that just because you close yourself off from the situation that it's gonna go away. You know what I'm saying? That situation may occur in another connection because you're avoiding it. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lesson to be learned in dealing with that head on. Can't keep running from everything just because you don't want to deal with it. Don't want to face it. You know what I'm saying? And hear about it. You know what I'm saying? Can't, excel and advance and mature, beyond, the things that you need to not let conquer you, you conquer it. Running from the things that, are meant to shape you, into the person that you need to be. You know what I'm saying? That emperor that you need to be. Okay? So that's mainly what this is. It's like somebody trying to close themselves off from a situation by not dealing with it. But they looking at it now from a higher perspective, when it comes to their higher self. Or somebody is laying it out like that for them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what causing somebody to have like some bad feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like they feel like you treating them bad, or you feel like somebody treating you the way they treating you. But this is the outcome of not facing something that may have been simple to face at one time, but now there's so much time that went by before somebody actually took action in something that happened in the past. They allowed all this time to, go by. Now they don't want to deal with it and letting time be the way they say, well, all this time that went by, just don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't even wait on me. Because they feel like, avoiding the situation altogether would be better. You know what I'm saying? Because of the time that done went by. But before all this time went by, earth signs, somebody had the opportunity to make something right when it was small. But because so much time went by, they feel like, well, if I hadn't made it, I got the memo late. So just go on. Don't worry about me. But the repercussions of that is what left somebody feeling bad and feeling like the op now. Like whatever that person was left feeling with, they left feeling that way because that person just don't want to, deal with making that right. You know what I'm saying? Because they got the late memo or something like that. And that's why somebody still feels, or why you still feel, had this bad feeling. You know what I'm saying? That's where these bad feelings came from that somebody is having over, whatever was put out there, or however the actions, you know what I'm saying, were, or what's going on. Like somebody now feels as though like this where that bad feelings coming from. Because somebody feel like, well, that was, then, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about now. You know what I'm saying? What's going on now? It's like, what's going on now is, you clearing up what happened then. Like, let's start there. Let's not start that like that, okay? Clarify this Knight of Swords in reverse. For somebody dealing with some delays, but it got a lot to do with this person putting something off and making something later than now. You know what I'm saying? Because of what they don't want to have to hear come up. Clarify the Knight of Swords in reverse. Clarify the Knight of Swords in reverse. Yeah, you got the World in reverse. Does somebody feel like, they're going to go through something, like this going to be a... And then you got the Sun at the bottom of the deck. With the Seven of Wands right behind that in reverse. See what I'm saying? Like somebody feel as though, whoever this is that felt like, them moving on or them coming back, being passive aggressive and shit like that, maybe they had some type of lifestyle that somebody was, living or something like that, or they were, contributing to some type of lifestyle they was with somebody else or by themselves. Don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But it's giving somebody that, it's some serious repercussions behind something if somebody don't communicate something to somebody, or like how something was or what was going on with them, and them feeling like it's something that's going to be a repeat of the past. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, I'm going to go through that again. You know what I'm saying? But at the bottom of the deck is the Sun. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, somebody seeing happiness with somebody else, or they seeing, you know what I'm saying, the truth now. But it's like the fact that somebody wants to confess something. They taking some accountability. They, accepting, they part in a situation. You know what I'm saying? It's about acceptance. Like somebody wanting, some type of forgiveness, some type of compromise, and coming clean about something. Yeah. Somebody want to come clean about how they really feel. And this is about that. I feel like whatever somebody, actions were that, they felt or held back from, or thought, it was too late to really say anything or something like that. It's like that. It's like, well, maybe, after all this time, they ain't gonna want to hear what I got to say. Maybe this person, was resisting change, or looking at, how something, distance may have been an issue, or something like that with the World in reverse. And maybe they felt stuck, you know what I'm saying, in a situation or where they were because of that, being something they felt like was going to play out and keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be a repeat of the past. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody wanting to keep a cycle open that, you know, is not suiting them. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they felt like it's going to be a repeat with the world in reverse. Especially if somebody don't want to let another person go. And they just, you know, want to keep that cycle open. You know what I'm saying? By keeping that person confused. With that with that Knight of Swords in reverse, is what it's giving me. Somebody don't, it's like they don't want to, you know, be honest about what something is, or how something went, or what was going on, or making something right. But it's also keeping, you know, something, you know what I'm saying, from the past, from moving on, from closing out that cycle. I don't know why people do that. Like, why you want to avoid, you know, not working on something, or, you know, getting to the bottom of something so you can move on. You know what I'm saying? Some folks just feel like, you know, if we just don't think about it, or don't, you know what I'm saying, address it, then, you know, we ain't got to worry about it. But I think, you know, somebody's ancestors ain't gonna go for that. Like, they need you to open your mouth, use your words. You know what I'm saying? But this is like somebody, you know, that need to accept, you know, how they were being looked at, or how they saw themselves. And if the world in reverse, this is also like somebody not knowing how they looked until they had to really look at themselves. You know what I'm saying? And experiencing new things and seeing yourself in a new light. You know what I'm saying? Like, seeing how you really were. Like, somebody seeing how you really were. Or you seeing how somebody seeing how they really was then. You know what I'm saying? But they got like a lot of decisions, a lot of choices, a lot of things that they got on their plate. Somebody got a lot of shit going on right here with this world in reverse. I don't know if it got something to do with you having a lot on your plate right now, that just, you know, got a lot of a smorgasbord of shit. You know, just got a lot of choices they need to make. They got a lot of shit they got to work on, or you got a lot of stuff you need to work on. But this is like somebody got a, you know, a lot of choices they need to make, and they may feel like they don't have enough time to make them, so they saying, don't wait on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they seeing different sides of themselves, you know, that they gonna have to work on, and they may feel as though, you know, they just don't have enough time, you know, or too much time that went by, and they don't have enough time, you know, to make everything right, you know, to come towards you, or you don't feel like you can come towards somebody else because you got a lot of things that require your decision making on. And it may be taking up a lot of your time and making you feel as though you don't have enough time. But that's not true. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of complex stuff. But at the same time, it's like somebody feeling like they don't have, they got their sight. Like, you got your sight in mind, your goal in mind, but it's like somebody feels as though it's going to be too much work to achieve it. So they may have possibly stayed in a cycle with somebody from the past, or just staying the way they were in the past. You know what I'm saying? They may feel like, you know, they got too many goals to accomplish. They got too many things to make right. You know what I'm saying? And it may just require them to have to keep moving forward. Like, keep working on that. Just keep going. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel like just because all this time that went by that, you know, it's too late, or I ain't gonna be able to make up for all this time. So shit, just go on, you know, without me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be able to make everything right away. But that's no need to stop either and remain passive about, you know, what went on or how something was. You know what I'm saying? It's about having that determined effort on your part to keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you got the sun at the bottom of the deck with the Seven of Swords in reverse. So somebody, you know, see happiness with another person. They see somebody else happy, but they feel as though, you know, or you feel as though, you know, there's something that need to be made clear to some, possibly a air sign, earth signs. But it's about somebody wanting to know if it's actually over. You know what I'm saying? Because this love is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, what this person feels It's like, they don't know for sure, like, if you want something with them still, but all in all, like, you still love this person or they still love you. You know what I'm saying? They just don't know if they have to keep working and putting in what they need to put in and realizing what they realizing when it comes to them thinking and looking at something from their higher self, from a higher perspective and things like that. Like, if it's going to matter, you know what I'm saying? Is it really over? Because this person may be using that as a deciding factor on whether they should keep working. Like I said, with this world in reverse, maybe they should leave shit the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe, all this, effort that they trying to put into making something right and understanding something and getting the, what I'm saying, they second wind to make something right. Maybe it ain't gonna be it's for nothing. But it's not. You know what I'm saying? There's happiness to be gained, you know what I'm saying, behind something once they confess that to themselves. Take accountability for their actions, you know what I'm saying? But the truth is going to be exposed either way, you know what I'm saying? It's going to come out either way, you know what I'm saying? So they may have a lot of choices. You may have a lot of choices you need to make. And maybe not feeling like you don't have enough time to get all this shit, you know what I'm saying? Tie up all these loose ends, get rid of all this shit, you know what I'm saying? And take off. But it's about you continuing on. Keep moving, keep going, you know what I'm saying? Not doing it just for, the connection or a possibility, but doing it because it's work that needs to be done on them or you, okay? But I'm going to end it here, Earth Signs. Hopefully the message resonates, and it's helpful in some way, all right? But I feel like, when it comes to people accepting or you accepting, where something is and how you want to resolve it, and not looking at, how much time that went by, but that you are going to keep going, you know what I'm saying, and do the right thing, you know what I'm saying, not just for a possible connection, but because you're able to finish what you started. Don't start something and see, a facet of yourself that you don't want to see, like, damn, man, I don't want to be looked at like I'm toxic. I don't want to be looked at like this, that like I don't deserve this. But if somebody pointing it out, if they laying it out and giving you the perspective of how somebody saw it, how they saw you, then, it's your obligation, you know what I'm saying, to make sure you correcting them things and understanding what you're looking at and not ignoring it just because you feel like it don't got nothing to do with you. And you still if you love that person, you'll work on it. If you love that person, you'll work through it. Even if you decide to be with them or not, it's with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Some people can accept you for less, but then that's just somebody saying that the potential they do see in you, they ain't worried about you getting there. They'll just take you the way you is. And anybody that'll want you like that and not want you at your higher self, shit, you got to question how they see themselves. Some folks just want to see you, you know what I'm saying, with the bare minimum. But if you find out that person just intentionally, deliberately, misled you and fed you a bunch of bullshit just to keep you in their circle, you know what I'm saying? Now, the person that really wanted to see you do better walked away because you didn't want to do it for them, or you didn't want to feel like, you had to, make all these different changes just to be with them. But that person just want to see, you know what I'm saying? They there to, to contribute the things, that you need in your life that you ain't getting somewhere else. And they may be triggering you, or you may have triggered somebody to want that you wanted to see that in, or that was your assignment. What's the trigger, this person a thing and move from their higher self, not to be stuck in that old version of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody else don't want to see them elevate. So I'm going to end it here. Earth Signs, hopefully the message resonates with you and or is helpful in some way. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe on your way out. Until next time, those of you that genuinely love me, know that I love you too. Mwah. Bye.